If you've ever wondered how people that paint wooden signs get those perfectly crisp lines with no paint bleeds, stick around. I'm going to show you. I'm Jamie from Me and My Farmer, and we have been painting wood signs for nearly 10 years. And after many years of absolute frustration, I've got it down every single time, no more paint bleeds. So once our design is cut and weeded, we take a roller and paint our wood round and give it time to dry. So now I take my transfer tape and I just put it on one edge carefully and then pull it right across the design. I sometimes use a ruler or a squeegee, but I just use my hand here. Then I take my squeegee and make sure I get out all the bubbles. Then once the paint on the wood round was completely dried, I peeled the back off of the stencil and carefully laid it down, then squeegeed it to make sure it was flat. And then I carefully pulled down and back, pulling the transfer tape off. I try not to pull it straight up or it'll pull the letters off, so I just kind of roll it back. And then I just use painter's tape and paint off any of the edges where I don't want the paint to go over the edge. So this is a really important part of the process of painting a sign. If you want to get those really nice, clean, crisp edges and not have any bleeding, this is the first step. I use the same color paint that I painted the background of the sign. And I put a generous amount on the roller, not too much, but definitely not too little. And then I'm going to leave this to dry really good. And what it's going to do is it's going to seal off all of the edges of that stencil. So when I go to put the other paint on top, it will not bleed through. And that's how we get those wonderful crisp lines every time. Okay, so now that that white paint is completely dry, I'm going to get a clean roller and I'm going to use this black paint. That's the color I'm going to paint with my design. But for this first coat, I'm going to put a really light coat on. Not a super heavy one. This is really going to make sure that the paint doesn't bleed through and that those lines are going to be nice and crisp. And once that first coat dries, I put a little more paint on my roller this time and give it a nice good second coat to cover everything. Then I give it a little time to dry. I don't let it dry too long, and then I peel off the stencil. And then I take my weeding tool and just carefully weed out any spots that were left. Now I'm laying down this top piece, the crown of thorns, but I'm going to do something a little different with this one. For this part, I'm just going to rub on some antique looking wax. I just want it to have that rustic look. Because it's pretty dry, it's not going to bleed through, so I don't even need to lay down that background coat of paint. I absolutely love how this turned out, and look at those beautiful crisp lines. And a big thank you to my sweet girl Faith for the photo shoot. He is risen. Okay, I love you. Bye.